have to pay for your net fees and everything. Let's say, me, I like calculating the worst scenario. 1,100. So imagine you keep saving 1,100 every month times 12. This is 13,200 pounds. 13,200 pounds, guys, times, let's convert it to Naira, 7.3 million Naira, guys. 7.3 million Naira after tax deduction, pension deduction, which this one, all the deduction in this life. 7.3 million Naira per year. So what are you waiting for? Like, I'm looking at this money like, guys, this is aside the shift we do, aside you working morning or night or this thing. I remember I actually did calculation for basic salary, like that one that we saw, they actually pay them more depending. This one is regardless of the company you're working with, minimum 7.3 million Naira. So imagine if you're working with a better agent, better company, better this one, better that one, you're working during the holidays, you're working at night. Now ask yourself, is the salary not enough? Is the salary not enough? Guys, the only thing you need is in the first few months you actually arrive, you just have to So I actually know that most of you have actually thought about this. How much is the healthcare assistant salary, senior care assistants, support workers, and all of that? How much is the salary? Is the salary enough? Can it cater for your need? Because there are so many news actually flying around. Oh, the money is not enough. It can't cater for your needs. It can't do this. It can't do blah. Anyways, this video will actually be focusing on that, to actually talk about how much your basic salary is, the benefits, the extra salaries, the extra money you can actually earn working as a healthcare assistant or a senior carer or a support worker or anything that is anything that is under senior care assistant. So if you know you're ready, make sure you click that subscribe button so that anytime I post a new video, you'll be like one of the first to get notified. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your own girl, Ashidemis, and of course you're watching Japa with Ashidemis. Here I share about immigration, clinical, anything. What is up, anything related to immigration. So guys, today I was talking about the senior care assistant salary, healthcare assistant salary, support worker, and everything. So how much do they actually earn? So before that, let me just tell you that if you're actually applying for a job in UK, abroad, or outside the country, before you actually qualified for a visa, you have to have any job you're applying to, it has to have the minimum annual pay. So which one is the minimum annual pay? Anyways, we'll get right to it. Now let's talk about the benefit that actually comes with this healthcare assistant visa, senior care visa, support worker, and everything. What are other benefits? Because there are so many benefits that is actually attached to this visa that nobody is actually talking about. Aside the pay, there are so many benefits that is attached to it. So what are the benefits attached to this type of visa? Number one is ability, or like you can actually bring your dependent. What do I mean by your dependent? Your dependent can be your family, your husband, your spouse, your children, your anything that is related to you, and the person that the thing is living thing. You can bring your animal too. if the yellow anything related to you, so you can actually bring your dependent. Then when you bring your dependent, what happens? Do you actually think, okay, how would they get to work or anything? My dear, as you are bringing your dependent, work is actually readily available for them. So if you are not considering this senior care assistant pathway or senior carer, you're thinking one or two or anything, consider your family that you can actually bring. So if you've been thinking of how to actually japa with everyone in your family, thinking about this and anything, this is one of the best routes for you to japa, to leave the country with your family, and they have work readily available for them. So which other benefit that comes with this? Your children are entitled to free education. Free education, guys. I'm sure you know the standard of education in UK is like top 3 in the world. Top 3, I be top 2. or even top 2, I be top, I don't even know this thing, but you guys know the level of education in UK. So you're entitled to full education. So another benefit that comes with this is healthcare. Guys, I've asked you so many times, what are you doing in this life if you are not entitled to healthcare, to especially free healthcare? Free healthcare, that when you have anything that is wrong with you can just go to the hospital, they will diagnose you, they will do this one like you're not paying any money. You know that sometimes living in Africa, living in Nigeria, sometimes when some things are wrong with us, we actually resort to using home remedy or self how do you call it, like just treating yourself at home. It's not as if we can't go to just because when you think about how much you pay for how much you actually pay for admission card, vaccine card, this one, you think about it, and on top of all, they can tell you they don't have oxygen, they don't have this one, they don't have that, they don't have that one, that kind of thing. So imagine you working as an healthcare assistant support worker in UK and you have access to free medical care, but it's actually not free though. They're still taking it from your salary, but even at that, you are still entitled to like free healthcare, like your insurance is actually paying for it. Though we have insurance in Nigeria, no, but then anyways, you're sure entitled to free healthcare. So aside the free healthcare, for your children under 18 years of age, they are actually, of course, actually everybody is entitled to free healthcare. For children under 18 years of age, their free healthcare can actually include things like optical, dental, and I think there's one more or something, but I can't remember at the time I'm actually making this video. And it actually varies between cities, the city you are and everything. But generally, you're actually entitled to free healthcare. So what are you still waiting for? What are you still waiting for? So now let's actually talk about the minimum wage. How much is the minimum wage for healthcare assistants? According to the UK short list occupation list, according to the UK short occupation list, the minimum wage for healthcare assistants, senior workers and support workers and all those likes is 20,000 something pounds, but let's just say 20,000 pounds. Yeah, that's the minimum. So if you're actually applying for a job outside from your home country, if you're actually applying for a job that you actually need a visa to go and work there, you have to make sure that the minimum wage is above 20,000. Anything that is less than 20,000, you will never get the visa. I've said this severally in my videos, and even when I actually showed you step by step how to actually apply to these companies, I have so many videos on that, how to apply to these companies step by step. You can see when we were going through all those requirements, all those documents, I'll tell you don't apply to this one, it's not up to 20k, don't apply to this one. So even if you see so many that in fact they will not even offer you CSO certificate or sponsorship, even if they offer you, there is no how you get a visa. If you want to get a visa or a job visa, your minimum, the annual pay must be more than 20,000 pounds. So that's the minimum wage. But this minimum wage does not mean that that's the lowest they can pay you. There are so many agencies, so many hospitals, so many nursing homes that actually pay more than this. And you know there are so many factors that actually affects your minimum wage. City you live in, the company you're working with, the agency you're working with, the day of your work, weekend, holidays, night shifts, day shifts. So many things actually affect your minimum wage. So when they actually say minimum wage means that is the basic. Like they can never go less than that, but you can earn more than that. Some people, you can be working for some people, your minimum wage can be 35,000 per year. It could be 40,000 per year. It could be 45,000, depending on who or where you're actually working. Imagine getting a job as a living carer. You are actually earning more than somebody that actually does normal rotation from private home. So it actually depends on so many factors. So when you actually see that minimum wage, it's just like the list that they are going. So many factors actually affects your minimum wage positively, but there is nothing that can affect your minimum wage that will make it go down. Is that 20 or not 20? Is that 20 or you are in your country? So once you're there or once you've applied, it's 20 and above, nothing more, nothing less, but so many things more. So how much is the salary to qualify? So as I have told you, the salary to qualify is any work you're applying for should have minimum of 20,000 pounds upwards. But I have told you to actually, of course, keep an open mind that there are so many agencies that pay more, there are so many nursing homes that pay more, there are so many cities that pay more. Though I wanted to make a video about cities you should actually avoid when you're actually applying. But I realized that anywhere you are applying to, like, they will actually pay you based on the cost of living in that area. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So maybe you might be staying in one of those cheap areas in UK, maybe like North Ireland or Wales. Then you can be any minimum of £20,000, whereas you can be in London, Manchester, all those expensive areas in UK. I can be paying you up to 25,000 naira or something. So it's just like to cover up for your extra expenses of staying in that area. Then another thing, and that thing I don't tell you guys about minimum wage. Okay, it wasn't anyways. Okay, next one. So now let's actually talk about your shifts. Which type of shifts, which one is this one, and all of that. So before you actually sign your agreement, or when you are signing your agreement, before you're actually giving your certificate of sponsorship, your employer will require you, and according to the UK policy for recruiting people from outside UK, you have to work a minimum of 37 hours per week, 37 to 44 hours, depending on the agency you're working with, depending on the company you're working with, depending on the area you're working, depending on the state you're working with. But the minimum is 34. Some is 38, some is even 44. But it does not exist 44. It's like that 44 is not that common. But I think what is actually on UK website is actually 37 or 39. But some agencies can make you sign between 37 hours to 44 hours. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So that 44 hours is not even up to this thing. So that 37 hours to 44 hours per week, not like per day. How will it be per day before? It's not 24 hours we have. So guys, you understand what I'm trying to say? So according to your signed agreement for a certificate of sponsorship, you are to work a minimum of 37 hours per week. And even with this minimum hours for shifts, you are expected, it's more like another compulsory criteria, you're expected to have an extra shift at least once per week. So you can decide to take extra shifts, one per week. You can decide to take 2 per week. You can decide to take 3 per week, depending on how Nigerian you are, depending on how energetic you are, depending on how thirsty you have for money. So it all depending on you. But as a rule, you have to take at least 1 extra shift per week. I hope you understand that. So that one is compulsory. So you have to experience 37 hours per week and an extra shift of any hours per week. You must take that to make your visa valid, certificate valid, and every one of that. Just one of those things that you have to do. So now let's actually talk about the pay. How much do you earn as a UK assistant, carer, supporter, worker, and all of that? I should have relate to it. Like I said, your pay is actually depending on your minimum wage, and this minimum wage can be affected by the company you're working with, the agency that recruited you, the area in UK that you're working, the time of the day that you're working, weekends, holiday, so many factors like that. But the minimum you're earning is £20,000. You can never earn less than that. You can only earn above that. And do you actually know that there are so many healthcare assistants, support workers, carers that actually earn more than nurses, more than even BSc nurses? Even these people, they even earn more than all these white collar jobs in UK and everything. That's just one thing about these many jobs, because you already know the reason. You can do how many shifts that you have, and sometimes the pay, they have to increase it depending on the type of work you're doing and every one of that. Did you know that? So don't feel like, the nurse might actually be like, officially, the nurse is actually your senior, of course, but you can actually be any more than that. Yes, that's what you don't know. Let's now talk about how you can actually survive. So let's now say the worst comes to the worst, and then you're working with the worst agency ever. You do not get luck with the company and everything. Now let's work with the minimum wage, which is £20,000. Though it's 20,000 something pounds, but let's work with the minimum wage. And for that minimum wage, you actually to pay your tax. After tax deduction, I told you from the benefits you have healthcare, this one and that one. Your after all those tax per year, your tax is almost going to £4,000. So you are left with like £16,000 per year. So after tax deduction, your normal tax deduction, healthcare, pension, and all those things, you shall be left like with £16,000. So now let's now say for this year, your £16,000, what can it do? Can you survive on it by year? So now let's calculate the spendings for £16,000. This £16,000 is without extra shifts that you are taking. It is without extra benefits that actually come from the company, the agency, without maybe you're working at night or you're working during the day, without anything. This is just like we're just calculating based on minimum, and this is what I really want you guys to work on, like just in case so the worst come to the worst, that all this kind of extra money is always like more keep them outside, say more calculate the main one. This one is like your basic salary, your main salary gone. So now let's calculate it. So from like I said, after removing your tax, your pension, health insurance, and all those tax that you have to pay in UK from your 20,000 something salary, you are left with £16,000 per year. So now let's now calculate it. So let's assume your basic salary is actually 16,000. So I'm actually here with my calculator to make it easier for everyone. So let's assume you're with your basic salary of 16,000. Basic salary of £16,000 per year. So £16,000, can you guys see it? £16,000 divided by 12. We have 12 months in a year. Can you guys see it? £16,000 divided by 12. So that is 1,333. But just for us to have like an equal figure, let's remove the 3 at the back. So now we have 1,300. Just for us to have round figure. And then maybe let's just say what's come to the worst, they just charge you for one thing. But there's nothing like that, but just for us to have round figure. Calm down. 1,300. So now this is what you earn every month. 1,300. That's what you earn every month. So now let's do some calculations. If you see me looking at my book, I've actually like gotten some rough estimate from my friends that stay in the UK. So now let's do this together. So the first thing that is most important to you is actually what? Your rent. So how much is your rent? Like I told you, if you watched my video on looking for a job in UK with 100% sponsorship, there was one job we actually got and the pay was really high, 12.50 pounds per hour, and they have extra fee for when you're working at night. That was 0.5 if you work at night. That job, it has free accommodation, it has free feeding, it has free health something like benefits in Go and watch the video, guys. Like we saw it together, not be say I talking with my mouth. I log into the website trying to show you guys how to do these things. You guys saw it with your eyes. Not be say I came here to, like, you saw it with your eye. You saw those benefits. So imagine if you had to be working with those type of agents, free accommodation. They even from that thing they give 3 meals per day. They give you 3 meals, never have issue. Even if you're in Nigeria, you feel like you're too Nigerian, you should be eating. At least they will give you rice, they will give you bread, they will give you this thing. So that means you're having your money to yourself. You're not paying for accommodation, you're not paying for this thing. And even that job that I saw, right? Even the job that I saw, let's do it. So the job is 12.50 pounds per hour. And then UK government say you should actually work at least 37 hours per week. So in 1 month, that's 37 times 4. So that means in 1 month you have to work 148 hours in a month. Then times the minimum 112.50 that we actually saw in that job. So guys, you have 1850. Did you see that? So times 12. Look at that, 22,200. Can you see that it's even higher than the minimum that we actually talk about? So let's even say because you earn more and your tax and everything, it's possible they should just remove like 5,000 from yours. I'm just trying to give rough estimates that okay, because of blah blah blah. So guys, you still have 17,200. So can you see that where you actually work matters? So but then let's continue. Let's say you did not have luck to work anywhere else, like that's just the basic thing. And this one that I calculated is just the government hours. So government allocated hours. Of course, I told you can take extra shifts. This one is just normal hours that the government says you should be doing. We've not added the extra shift though. So imagine when we add the extra shifts, and then after adding the extra shift, depending on how long you can actually go with your extra shifts, that they will calculate. Like, do you understand the English now? But then let's go with our basic that we're doing. So the one we're doing before was minimum annual salary is 20,000 pounds. After tax and all those things, blah 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 deduction, you are left with 16,000 pounds. 16,000 pounds. So per month, how much do you go home with? You go home with 1,033 pounds. That's almost like, let's just approximate it, 1,300 pounds. So now I was actually talking about accommodation. So let me put the 1,300 here. So now let's talk about accommodation. As I told you, you can actually get free accommodation. But if you're not lucky with an agent that actually have a free accommodation, the highest you can actually spend for accommodation can be vary from self-con, 1 bedroom, this one, that one, anything less than 1 bedroom. This one we are doing for single people. This one is for single people. They might we'll first do for single people, then after we'll do for married, because I know that most of you are actually single. Or even if you're not single, at least you first go there as a single person first. So we're starting with single people. So for single person, 1 bedroom, studio, apartment and everything, the highest you can see is, no, not like the highest you can see, you can see more than that, but at least a very comfortable place that you know that okay, they stay for house is 500 pounds. So 1,300 minus 500, you are left with 800 pounds. You know, I told you guys, this one is depending on this thing. You can get a self-con, you can get a studio apartment, and even there are some apartments that they can be 8 rooms, then different people will have their room toilet. It could be room toilet and studio, then you share parlor and kitchen. It could be depending. You could share parlor and kitchen, and then common space, common walkway. Some you can have general toilet, two people share toilets, and then each person to their room. Different ones. Like there was one that one of my friends stays. I think they are like 5 bedroom, something like a 5-bedroom flat. Everybody has their own room and toilet inside, room and toilet inside, but you share. Even in Nigeria they do it sometimes when you actually want to rent serviced apartment. Yeah, at times when you want to rent serviced apartment, they will tell you have your room and your bedroom inside your room, but you share the parlor and then the kitchen with other people. So all those type of apartment, they are actually very cheaper. You can get for 200 pounds, you can get for 300 pounds, you can get at less than 500 pounds. But me, I like doing, let's say the worst come to the worst, that be very, or maybe you are looking for the one that is really closer. Then another good thing about it is that even this 500 pounds, most times it's always like with your bills, light bills, water bills, like it's always with your bills, and even the tax. There's this tax that they used to pay. So now for after accommodation, we are left with 800 pounds. Let's say maybe you just wanted a place very close to your work and all of that, and then maybe you just have some, just in case. So the next on our list, of course, after accommodation, what you should think about is your food, your feeding. How much you need for grocery? I'm not talking about all these people that they can eat their life away. And one thing is, when you're actually moving to a new place, of course, you know that for now you have to be prudent. You have to learn how to do this thing. You are not in Nigeria that you can buy so many things or food is very cheap or anything. You have to be prudent. But let's just say, the worst come to the worst, that this guy did shop, that kind of thing. 100 pounds. So 800 minus 100, we're actually left with 700 pounds. So we removed accommodation, we removed feeding. Then the next on our list is transport. Maybe transport to work, up and down, grocery shoppings and all of that. Let's remove £100. But depending on the type of person you are, of course you have to go to work, and depending on how long shift you are. And another thing is, your shift might not be in the same place you're working. It could be in another place. Yeah, depending on the agreement you actually signed with your agent or this thing. So if they say you can't do extra shifts outside that nursing home, that means you can't do it. But there are some agencies that don't care. Just make sure that you come to work. You can always do your extra shift with another care home, with another this thing. And you can even do it as a salesperson. You can take up another job. So depending on whatever your agreement is, so make sure you go through your agreement. You sign this thing, agreement with the agent before anything. So let's say for transport, let's remove £100 minus 100. I left it 600. And do you know that this transport, you may not even use it if your place is kind of close to where you work. But let's just do plus or minus, you get. Then let's talk about bills, your miscellaneous phone bills, water bills, electric bills, Netflix, Amazon, all the bills that you can think of. We never see this kind of bills before. Let's use £100. You're left with how much? £500. So let's say shopping for clothes, you have to shop for your clothes, wears and everything. Let's remove how much? You that they just gave you job, like you just left your country. Are you supposed to be thinking about clothes? Are you supposed to be thinking about clothes? For all international flights, everybody is required to have 46 kg. So all those 46 kg where you carry, let's even say you use 40 kg to carry food. Main 6 kg in. And the funny thing is, most times, like working in nursing home, you have to wear a uniform. Not like you'll be wearing mufti. So what are you using clothes for? If you know you are the type that used to go to club, you better stay in your country. Nobody says you should not go to club and everything, but then for the first few times that you are there, you have to be prudent. So nobody is calculating clothes. We are just calculating the basic things that you cannot survive with that. So let's just say you are nice enough, you're a good child, and then you send to send money home to your parents to appreciate them for everything. Let's say you sent £100. So guys, you are left with £400. £400. And some of you that maybe your parents are okay, or maybe they say, don't worry, Shima, one pay, that kind of thing. So you have £500. But let's just say, out of the abundance of your heart, you have a younger one, you have a family, you have a distant £100. And that £100 is almost like 56,000 naira or even more, 56,000 naira. So you send some 56,000 naira to somebody in Nigeria, and the person will not tell you thank you. If they not tell you thank you, block them. Tell them to come and do the work. Anyways, you have £400 to yourself. So let's just say this is what you have every month. Guys, this is aside your shifts, aside your extra this thing and all of that. This is just basic salary. So let's just say you have this £400. So for 1 year, so that £400, imagine you're actually a good person, you're prudent, and you keep saving this money for the next 1 year. How much is that? So 400 times 12, that is £4,800. Guys, £4,800. Now let's convert it to naira. Times 556. Guys, 2.66 something million naira. In fact, let me approximate this one. This is almost like 2.7 million naira. After accommodation has been deducted, grocery have been deducted, no healthcare, everything has been deducted. 2.7 million naira per year. This is not including the extra shifts you are getting. No, this is not with your shift. Though. This is not you working maybe during the day, during the night, or during holidays. So because holiday money in a plenty pass normal one. Weekend money in a high pass this one. This one is just your basic annual salary. Basic money, 2.7 million naira. Now this type of people go come Nigeria. If you say EFCC, they go to pursue them. Especially if you say this money is not enough. So now imagine you are not spending accommodation. So how much did you calculate? Basic was 400. Imagine you apply to that work I saw. You're not paying accommodation. So how do you remaining 500? Have you added your remaining 500? And then grocery, since they are feeding you, add your remaining £100. That is £1,000 that you actually have to yourself. And of course, this is because we are not paying for accommodation and everything, guys. Your light bills, your everything, of course, will be free. So let us say it will be free. So that means your normal annual monthly salary 1,300. What are you using it for? Let's just say, okay, maybe because you are too Nigerian, sometimes you may not like the food. Let's just say that one. Let's remove £100, 1,200, and then maybe you have to do your data. Of course, they'll even have free Wi-Fi. And then especially if you're actually a living carer, maybe you are staying with the patient in their house, is an old person, you're staying with them in the house, they will have Wi-Fi. But let's just say they do not have, you have to pay for your Netflix and everything. Let's say, me, I like calculating the worst scenario. 1,100. So imagine you keep saving 1,100 every month times 12. This is £13,200. £13,200, guys, times, let's convert it to Naira, 7.3 million Naira, guys. 7.3 million Naira after tax deduction, pension deduction, which this one, all the deduction in this life, 7.3 million Naira per year. So what are you waiting for? Like, I'm looking at this money like, guys, this is aside the shift you will do, aside you working morning or night or this thing. I remember I actually did calculation for basic salary, like that one that we saw, they actually pay them more depending. This one is regardless of the company you're working with, minimum 7.3 million Naira. So imagine if you're working with a better agent, better company, better this one, better that one, you're working during the holidays, you're working at night. Now ask yourself, is the salary not enough? Is the salary not enough? Guys, the only thing you need is, in the first few months you actually arrive, you just have to be prudent. Be yourself. Take your time. This money will come. Don't rush, it will come. But just that first few time, you have to like be yourself, balance yourself well and everything. So make sure you go watch the video on how I actually got an employer that gives free accommodation, free feeding, free everything. So everything still boils down to personality. Even if they're giving you 10 million Naira per day, some people, they be squander, they spend anyhow, the money is gonna finish. So guys, 7.3 million Naira, and then when you come to Nigeria, EFCC will start pushing you up and down. So guys, I hope with this viewpoint of mine, I've been able to convince you that healthcare assistant job, healthcare assistant salary, senior worker salary, it is more than enough to actually cater for you. Like I said, I'm going to be calculating for single people. So all the expenses were actually calculated for single people. You can just multiply it by 2 or by 3. Then if you have children, I just say 100 for one adult. Children, if you have 3 children, just give them half, 50-50, because they are catering for children, buying pampers, this one. So just add like extra 150, just like that. And then another thing is, if you're actually married, I'm sure you'll be coming with your spouse. The spouse you'll be coming for, if they know that they cannot do dirty work on all those things, let them stay in Nigeria, because it will actually be easier for you if your husband or your wife is actually like supporting like this thing. So imagine if you are bringing 1,300, your wife or your husband, you're bringing 1,300. If you add it together, that is 2,600. So let's just say you rent an apartment. Of course, you have to rent a bigger apartment. Maybe apartment can be like bigger apartment, maybe £600, £700. So let's just say, let's do calculation again. So 1,300. So sorry, £2,600. Then you rent a bigger apartment of maybe £800. You are left with £1,800. So let's say for grocery, depending, let's just use a family of 5, maybe 100 for each person. You're still left with 1,300. Then let's say your bills, your everything, minus 150. 1,150. What's remaining? Transport. Let's just say 200 pounds. You're left with 950. Remember, your children have access to free education, free schooling, free healthcare. You're not paying anything. Then what else? If you want to send money home, 1,100 pounds. You're left with 850 pounds. Then what else? I've calculated grocery. So how much is this in Naira? This calculator is doing like what I don't know. So I hope you understand. This one is even regardless of the shifts, regardless of whatever. And one thing I actually want to say is, if you know you are married, you have a spouse and everything, just try and come, balance yourself. Not like you will come this month and then you invite somebody over. You said you have to like have a stable ground, maybe like 3 months, 6 months. Though it does not have a rule before you invite somebody, but at least you say gain your grant, just like in case, and be sure of the partner you're bringing. Don't come and bring a partner that will come and say, me, I'm not working, me, I know if you do that kind of work and everything. No. Don't bring that type of partner. Be sure. Take your time. Know all this thing, okay, you're doing extra shifts, this thing. Know how to schedule your own life first before you come and bring people, especially bringing children. Bringing children can be very stressful. In Nigeria alone, let alone, Anyways, so guys, if you actually enjoyed this video as usual, as always, make sure you click the subscribe button, and of course I'll see you in my next video. Thanks for watching and bye.